Today we're going to be talking with Jeremy Vest. Today we're going to be talking with Jeremy Vest, who is the video marketing director for brands and coaches. Several of the video marketers you see on stage and his customers have received over 2 billion organic video views and over 10 million subscribers. He's going to be spilling the beans on how you can be copying million-dollar brand strategies for YouTube. Stay tuned, ladies and germs. It's the Business of Video podcast.
You're listening to the Business of Video podcast, where the world's top YouTubers and marketers talk about what's working with online video. This podcast is recorded live on Facebook every week, and you can join us when you visit businessofvideopodcast.com. Now your host, Owen Video.
Hey, good morning and welcome back to the Business of Video podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest tactics on video marketing for creators and companies. I'm Owen here as always with my co-host Nick Nimmin, and we invite you to subscribe to the show today so you don't miss a thing. Just type sub in the comments now, or if you're watching on iTunes, you can subscribe to the show there. My co-host today is Nick Nimmin. Nick, what's going on, buddy?
Owen, hey, yeah, it's me, Jason. I know. What can I say? Hey, I'm not sure if you're following Nick's Discord, but he's out of town right now and he couldn't make it. But I was following it. I flew to Thailand, came to his studio. Can't figure out how to turn the lights on. He has blue lights and stuff, but it's really dark in here. But don't tell anyone. And I figure I'd fill in. Is that cool?
You know what? I'm glad that you have filled in for him. That's wonderful. That's right. Nick is actually on vacation right now, or he's taking some, he's on a business trip. He's doing some cool stuff. And so you broke into a house in Thailand and are sleeping in his bed.
Yeah, well, I haven't got that. I just got here. I found out about last night, took an all-night flight. But yeah, just don't tell Nick. I think we're cool. I'm not messing with any of his settings or anything. It doesn't light me up the way he lights up, but we'll figure it out, you know? I'm just here to help you, you know? It's all for Owen.
Well, I'm glad you're here because you're a totally fun guy to hang out with. You do a lot of Facebook Live. You're actually a brand new ambassador for, the Dixie Belle Paint Company, I believe.
Absolutely. Yeah. Dixie Belle Paint Company for sure. I am an ambassador. We're going to have a weekly live show on their Facebook page, which has well over 100K followers. Wednesdays at 7, I think, Central. And dude, it's going to be exciting. I'm like super excited. My daughter and everything. It's a lot of fun.
We're excited for you. You've been doing a great job with your Facebook Live. So be sure to post your link in the comments so that our audience can get a chance to follow you. Welcome, Jason Rodriguez. He's the first ever guest co-host we've ever had on the channel. So that's kind of an exciting thing.
I'm super excited.
And did you guys see the new intro to the show? We launched a new intro to the show today. It was kind of neat. I'd love to know what you guys thought of that. Hey, our guest today is Jeremy Vest. Apparently, I just can't say it. I don't know why. I'm having such a hard time saying it. Our guest today,
Jeremy Vest.
Jeremy Vest. But it could easily be Jeremy Vest because he is the best at wearing vests and he's the best at video marketing. This is a guy who pulled me under his wing 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I don't even remember when. Has kind of showed me everything that he knows how to do, and I've managed to botch most of it up. But before we bring him on to share his $1 million brand strategies that you can be using to grow your YouTube and video marketing channels, I want to ask you guys a get to know you question. Is that okay if I ask a get to know you question? Do you feel like it's too soon, Jason, to ask a get to know you question?
No, not at all. Soon. I mean, we've been live for 4 minutes now. I don't know what else you'd wait for as far as timing.
It's true. You know, in Facebook time, we're old men at this point. It's like that space movie with Matthew McConaughey. What was that movie called?
Oh, that was a good movie. It's like all three-dimensional and
Gary Stanley Rick, you know, what was the name of that movie? Put it in the comment section, guys. Help us out. You know, it's like, you ask me any time of day, I'll know the name of that movie, but you ask me when I'm live on the air, my brain completely goes blank. But here's my get to know you question. Who is your most favorite YouTuber? I want to know. Let us know in the comment section below. And while you guys are writing that, we're going to cover some news. very interesting things happening in the world of online media. I mean, for the last like 30 days, it's kind of been like just nonstop news breaking in the video marketing world. We're going to start today with an article that comes from The Verge. Guys, you need to be following The Verge and Zach Estrada, who wrote this article today. Instagram launches a portrait mode and a new way to tag friends in stories. This is really cool. So if you're an Instagram user, you've probably struggled with getting that perfect picture, right? Because your iPhone or your Android probably takes better native pictures than the Instagram app does. Well, Instagram added a couple new features today, and the biggest is a portrait mode called Focus. The app also has a new way of mentioning other users in stories with a sticker, and it's very cool. Focus mode is basically Instagram's take on portrait mode that's been popping up on every new smartphone. The company says Focus will be under the record button next to the super zoom setting. And as soon as you put a face in the shot, it will blur the background and give you just these fantastic, just these beautiful looking photos. So I encourage you guys to go to Instagram to check it out. Jason, do you use Instagram much?
Yeah, I occasionally do it, and I love the feature of, I've gotten in such a habit of turning my phone around and doing portrait mode that this sounds spectacular. It's like, hey, finally jumping on the train, let's get moving.
Yeah, turning your phone around. I think it's a great indication of what's coming too on social media, right? Like these apps are moving so fast. Like YouTube is launching some new stuff. YouTube, I don't even know if you know this. You can upload a portrait video to YouTube, and when you play it, YouTube will zoom in on the video and actually play it in a rectangle mode.
I think I saw that like last year, Owen. But that it is new. We'll call it new.
How dare you?
Sorry.
How dare you embarrass me on my own show?
I didn't.
You're out of here. So, guys, that's cool. Check that out. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section if you're using Instagram or if you plan on using that there. Hey, next story, social media and the Syrian crisis. You heard about the Syrian crisis, Jason?
I have. Thanks to you, Owen. You've been lighting up my news feed about all of the stuff with Syria. Normally, I don't follow like news-based channels, but you have pretty much everything for me now. Like I get my news from you, I get my everything. So it's like I definitely appreciate it for sure.
Massages and your inappropriate internet material. So I think that's cool.
That Facebook should have an app. When you're watching video, you plug it in Bluetooth and it gives you a massage chair that massages you just to make the feeling of the. I'm just going to stop there because I'm starting on this app after this broadcast ends.
Yeah, so. I think it's great. And if you could add a happy ending to that, that would be, I think, something.
Owen, come on. I thought that you said.
I like it when news ends on a high note. Anyway, folks, the Syrian missile crisis is obviously a very serious deal. Whether you're for it or against it, there's a lot to be said about the way social media was covering it. And the local news, KUSI News, actually called me up, asked me to come on to the news and share sort of the social media perspective. And so we posted links to those articles, hopefully in the comment section below. Would love your take on it, guys. Has social media been fair to the Syrian crisis? I mean, we see a lot of different things going on. We're seeing a lot of like the cool shots of the missiles flying overhead. And, we're a Hollywood culture. We like to see that kind of stuff. But at the same time, what we're not seeing is pictures of the refugees, the people that were freaking gas bombed by Assad, 9-year-olds with their faces melting off. And no joke, I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, this is literally what happened, but that stuff gets filtered out of Facebook's algorithm because it doesn't make people happy. So isn't that interesting? Mark Zuckerberg's, whole approach to social is we want Facebook to make people happy. But then when news items come out, they get sort of filtered out. I mean, I don't know, Jason, am I wrong about that? How do we work around that?
No, you're right. They're putting like a Band-Aid on it or a little bow and trying to make it pretty. And I totally understand that to an extent because there is multi-age levels on Facebook. So, a 12-year-old kid, how do you explain, I don't know if that's the right place for them to learn about. I don't know. It's tricky, man. Like the news, we don't watch the news too much in a house because we have a bunch of little ones. And it's like, I don't know if I want them to see that, but at the same time, should they? Absolutely, and we should for sure. So
and I think that a lot depends on how your kids are taking in social media. My kids, we actually had a friend of ours say, hey, can you get the Facebook Messenger Kids app so that our kid, because our kids go to first grade together. And I'm like, yeah, no, nah, not right now. Not ready for that yet. My kids, we're pretty diligent. Everything's on lockdown. And besides, they break the remotes to the things that I own. So it's very hard to turn social media on in my house as it is. What do you guys think? Should social media, should Facebook report the news no matter what, or do they have a responsibility to filter out the more graphic stuff? I think what I worry about is that like the missile strikes, are it's like rah, big foam fingers for our side. But what we're not seeing is why we're even there in the first place. Teresa Kennard.
And the biggest part of this story, I'm just going to keep going. The biggest part of this story is Owen Video is on the news. I mean, come on. Yeah. How did that happen? How did you do that?
Yeah, that's incredible. I've got a video coming out on my channel this week about how to get on the news. It's all about positioning, guys. And if you're like Alan Graham Medcraft, or if you're like Teresa Kennard or Patricia Sumner, and you guys are actively using social media, you have got to position yourself as an expert in your field. So it's got like social media expert San Diego, Facebook marketing expert San Diego. And these aren't sales pages, right? These are more like, hey, if you want to interview a social media expert for the news. So that's kind of what happened here. I got one call from the Channel 10 News, and then that got me referred over to this one. And so we're kind of developing a lot of momentum here. And there's a lot of opportunity for you guys. I mean, being on both of these channels, not only did I get these tremendously valuable backlinks, but my channel got featured on these news stations. That's always a good place. A good place.
Man, that is really awesome. I'm looking forward to this video because it's just something I would love to do. And I would love to say hello to Heidi Looney watching out there. I hope that's how you say it, Looney, from Costume Co. What up, girl, on the YouTube? That is,
is Heidi Costume Co.?
She is Costume Co. Don't tell her. I mean, is she? Or is she?
I just met her on Twitter this week, so you get a big round of applause. And we've actually got a few people watching us today. I can't wait to come say hi to you guys today. Hey, last story in the news today. How much would you pay for Facebook without ads? Jason, how much would you pay for Facebook? Never see an ad.
I was reading this. I don't mind. I do not mind the ads because it reminds me of all the purchases I want to make on Amazon that I forget, or, all my shopping carts and all the cookies, whatever it does. I would not pay for Facebook. And I think that would be a bad thing for them. Just because some of the news out there is showing how a lot of people are leaving Facebook. So why would you charge for a platform that no one even wants to be on lately, I guess,
That's, he is saying $1. Nicole Sheffer is saying $0. Dan Norton is saying $0. Do you guys, do you guys like the ads? I actually appreciate the ads. You know what I do? When I see an ad I like, I save it. You can save things in Facebook. Do you ever do this? Do you ever save things in your Facebook newsfeed? No, I save things. I do. So I say, that's cool. I'm going to check that out, right? Because most of the time you see an ad and it goes to their website to buy it. But what I want to do is I want to go buy it on Amazon and skip the shipping charge. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I save it. And then, when I'm feeling in sort of a thrifty mood, you know what I mean? Like I'll go and I'll throw this stuff into an Amazon shop. And it's a weakness for me. It's a weakness. As soon as like a client pays, their fee or whatever, then that's when Nick Nimitz is saying back to the vacation. See you guys later, Nick. Always good to see you. That's when a client will pay a bill and I'll be like, I'm going to go check out on my Amazon shopping cart now, or I'm going to go to the saved section, and see what neat little camera gears and doohickeys are in there. That's the way I roll. I don't know about you guys.
Absolutely. Sorry. And bye, Nick. We'll see you soon. Don't worry. I did not go in the closet. I did peek, but I
did not. Anyone. Your giant bags of powder in the closet. I did not take money from. I did not take cash, marked bills from the black sports bag that's hanging out underneath your bed.
There was a lot of slippery items in there. That's all I can say. But I'm not going to go any further.
Wow,
that was too much. Sorry.
That one's a winner. So okay, so the last article comes from Recode.net. I want you guys to take a look at this. They did a survey poll. You're guys going to be surprised. The author, Randy Mola, asks, how much would you pay for Facebook without ads? Get this, 41.6%, the biggest chunk of people said they'd be willing to pay up to $5 for Facebook per month.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the ads. I'm not willing to let it. I'm not willing to pay. It's only $5. I've got $5. It's like Facebook for everybody. And, if it's right. But I personally, I don't see it like that. How much would you guys pay? I'd love to know in the comment section. We're going to go check those out right now, ladies and gentlemen, and that's the news. We want to give a big shout out to those of us watching live on Facebook right now. Dan Norton is out there. Heidi Looney. Gord Iceman is saying, I watched some video ads for creative ideas. I think that is absolutely the case here. Teresa Kennard is saying, happy hollybobs. Nick, I'm not sure what that means, but it's fun. Patricia Sumner is saying, I love Amazon Prime. Are you a Prime user, Jason?
Absolutely. That's like hands down. Why even shop on Amazon? When I see shipping charges, I'm like, don't even care. Prime, and you get videos. I don't use that part of it much, but the shipping, man, I need things tomorrow and today.
Oh, I know. Like, I know. I live in a world now where I can order an item on Sunday and actually get it Sunday night. I mean, it depends on the item.
Right.
I had the U.S. Postal Service show up to my house. And, I was like, you guys don't work on Sundays, They
do now.
This is what he says to me. He goes, hey, man, you order it. We have an obligation to get it to you.
Right. Which is good that they're hiring more people at that point, because obviously usually it's not your normal typical 5 day, 6 day a week post office lady. It's a new person.
Put a smile on your face though, dude. This guy's like, yeah, if you order it, we got to do it.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
they should fire him. Fire him, and there's someone else that would take his place in 2 seconds.
No benefits. You're out. You're out.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Nicole Sheffer is saying I would pay $0. Alan Graham is saying getting on the news is so epic. Owen, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Marcus Campbell, who I went to high school with, is saying I want to be on the news. LOL. For the right reasons, Marcus Campbell. I was on the news in high school, and I think you know what that's about. And being on the news is not always a good thing. It's not always a good thing. David Freund is saying too liberal of a view on social media, trying to kill the conservatives. Which one are you, David? Because I can't tell by that comment. I'm not really sure which where when I look at it, I'm not sure where to put it. But we're glad you're here, David. David's a good friend of mine. When I got sick with cancer, he actually came over here with frankincense. You know that frankincense to help me. Frankincense is a cancer killer, so he's a good guy. We really like him. He said he's willing to pay $1 a year. That's interesting. I wonder how they would bill that. I mean, because it would cost them 30 cents to even run your card.
Yeah, that's Yeah, they need to have it more like incentives, like YouTube Red. Obviously, you could buy that, but it's not just for ads. You get special programming. They need something else.
I love that. Like maybe like you pay for Facebook and you get a Facebook Watch show. I would do it for the Facebook.
Yeah. I haven't been turned on. I'm a member of a few watch pages, or like them and follow them, but it's almost like a turnoff because I really like seeing the live, me personally. And then the watch, it seems like, I don't know, a disaster. Kind of.
I want a Facebook Watch show. I don't want to watch Facebook Watch shows. I just want my own Facebook.
Oh, you're wrong. Well, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that one. But for being an audience member, it doesn't do much for me. It's like watch, and they put a whole new tab up there on your phone, and it just sits there and goes 5, 10. It keeps counting. I never click on it.
I love the comments that we're getting in here. Okay, Patricia Sumner is saying Casey Neistat is my favorite YouTuber. Dan Norton is saying, how do you pick just one favorite YouTuber? Sabby BG is saying Nick Nimmin is my favorite YouTuber. That's awesome. I love to hear, because how many people love Nick. Dan Norton is saying I would follow your course, NewsTube Academy, Owen.
Ooh.
Nick Nimmin is saying getting on the news is a super clever idea. Guys, it's huge. Television is huge. It's absolutely huge. So a lot of good stuff happening today, guys. We have a great show lined up for you today. Jeremy Vest is here. Before we bring him on, I want to ask you to share this video on your timeline right now. Click the share button, and we'll be right back with Jeremy the Germ Vest. Today's show is brought to you by the Video Marketing Toolkit. Do you want to use YouTube properly? Do you want to skip all the trial and error, all the nonsense, and know exactly what to say and when to say it? Do you want to know the best gear that you should get? Do you want to know how to set up your office background and how to get the most appropriate lighting for your YouTube channel? Well, download the Video Marketing Toolkit. You'll get my full guide, how to look professional on camera, getting started with equipment, and all the things you see here. I'll even give you, you've got a script template in there that is my script template. It will show you exactly what to say and when to say it if you struggle with spitting out your words on camera. Just go to thevideospot.net/toolkit and grab your toolkit today. If you're just joining us, you're watching the Business of Video podcast. We're live every Wednesday at 9 a.m. and you can subscribe to the show. Just type sub, S-U-B, in the comments right now, and we will send you a weekly alert when we go live so that you don't miss a thing. Our guest today is Jeremy the Germ Vest. Jeremy is an amazing individual. He is a guy who is patient enough to wait for me to scroll to his bio before he says anything. Jeremy has created video marketing strategies for several Fortune 100 companies and also for famous YouTubers. I know he won't mention their names, but let me tell you something, guys. The biggest YouTubers in the business go to Jeremy and ask how they can grow their channel. He's the video marketing director for brands and coaches, several of the video marketers that you'll see on stage at Video Marketing World. His customers have over 2 billion organic views, over 10 million subscribers. He's the founder of VidPow and Video Marketing World. He is also the video director at vidIQ. Ladies and gentlemen, give me some like and heart bombs right now for Jeremy Vest. Jeremy, how are you, my man?
Doing well. That was a long intro.
You know what? My wife wrote it, and she just loves you so much. In fact, I'm actually like, hey, let's tone it down. You know, my bio is like, Owen forgot to do the dishes. And I think he has a YouTube channel, but that's sort of how it works out sometimes. How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Honestly, you got signed up with vidIQ, and you don't even write anymore. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Just doing things for vidIQ and focused on the conference. It's been an awesome few months. I'm the senior evangelist. Hey, vidIQ's in the house.
Yeah, man of prayer. I love it. So basically, we pray for the health. Is that what an evangelist is? Tell our audience, what does that mean? You're a brand evangelist. Talk about what that means.
Really, I'm just spreading the message of vidIQ, teaching people how to get more, successful with their YouTube channels. We have a lot of creators that use vidIQ, so we're just wanting to teach and educate everyone, making sure they can achieve, their goals for not just YouTube, but video marketing in general. Yeah.
And what does vidIQ do?
vidIQ is a Chrome extension plugin. So when you're on your YouTube channel, it's kind of like TubeBuddy in a sense. We have our differences, but basically it helps you from scorecards to keyword research. It just helps you be more awesome on YouTube.
Be more awesome on YouTube. I love that. And when it comes to being more awesome on YouTube, you just need to do it. Just do it. That's my best. That's my best advice. Well, Jeremy, we're glad to have you here. And we're going to be talking today about $1 million brand strategies that you can use to grow. vidIQ is saying we need a fourth player for table tennis. That's fantastic. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty amazing at table tennis. I actually play with 2 paddles in my hand, and I can Forrest Gump that all day.
That'd be cheating, Owen.
Is that cheating?
I think 2 paddles isn't in the rule book, so yeah.
This guy,
we'll just leave that there.
Like professional tennis rules. That's amazing. We're going to have to dig into that on a future episode. Jeremy, let's talk about YouTube strategies for brands that small YouTubers can be using. What is working on YouTube for $1 million brands?
What's funny? I would love to start with what's not working for brands, if you don't mind, because I think it'll tie it in for YouTubers. Believe it or not, the best thing you can do on YouTube is to be an individual and not a brand. That 14-year-old with 1 billion views on beauty vlogging or hair tutorials is going to have a lot easier time than a brand. And the reason for that is YouTube is the ultimate reality television, and people love people. A brand is not a person, so it's actually extremely difficult for a brand to do well. It really is on YouTube. It's 10 times harder for a brand to kill it on YouTube as is just a person.
Why is that?
I think, well, I think humans like to follow humans, and YouTube is kind of like reality. So yes, the big brands like Sony and, Nike and Red Bull, a lot of these brands are kicking butt, but they're making good content to kick butt.
Sure.
When, there's other great examples of like, there's a lot of great examples of people not necessarily having a human as the main voice of their channel that's still doing well. Like Red Bull makes just exciting content, extreme stuff. Yeah. So there's a lot of ways for brands to do well, but in general, it's a whole lot easier for you, an individual, to grow an audience by your personality. Even for how-to channels, a lot of the times people are coming for you and not the exact tutorial you're talking about that week.
Right. They're not necessarily learning like how to build a web page. It's more like, oh, I want to drop in and see my buddy Owen, something like that.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So you're YouTube certified in audience growth. What are some tactics you've used to grow a large audience? I mean, 10 million subscribers, that's no joke. What are some strategies you've used for your brand clients to help them grow their audiences?
The first thing I would say is really understanding what the goals are, because a lot of brands don't understand what their own goals are. And then they have bosses and their bosses have bosses. So I'd say the first thing we really need to establish when we're working with a brand is making sure that the goals are realistic and understood. Mm-hmm. I know that sounds stupid, for a YouTuber, it's like, hey, I want to make more money or get more subs or whatever it is. But for a brand, the first thing that typically happens is we need more views. Yeah. After that, the honeymoon goes over and they're like, yeah, you got us 10 million views, but that didn't convert to sales. And I'm like, you didn't ask for sales. Yeah. So I always start with customers. I'm always like, you know what? This is what's going to happen. 2 years down the road, you're going to make 100 videos and your bosses are really going to want to know what the crap you were spending the money on. So we're going to set up conversion tracking and make sure that we understand what means success to you so that moving forward, we can get started. From there, I really want to make sure that the channel is focused on one thing, even though Red Bull has from skateboarding to surfing, you name it, they have all kinds of stuff. It's all a big theme, which is extreme sports. Yeah. So you want to make sure that that brand channel has a theme and a focus. You also want to make sure that they understand the value they're providing, whether that's entertainment or information or how-to content. They really want to you really want them to focus all of their content on the core value they're providing for someone. A lot of brands are kind of stuck up and they're like, oh, well, we're just going to put up some videos. It's like, no, you actually have to provide value or no one will care about your videos.
Right, right.
And then from there, I help brands develop their messaging, the what and why. Everyone knows this Nike, just do it. But when it comes to YouTube, probably my favorite messaging of all time for this industry is Tim Schmoyer says, master the platform or master YouTube and spread your message. So you really want to understand and you want to verbally communicate in the first 30 to 40 seconds of your videos what your channel is about and why that matters to the person watching. So on my little baby channel, it's a video marketing strategy so you can make your best impact or make your impact. Learn video strategy, make your impact. So I can't even say my own thing. It's funny. It's like the shoemaker, cobbler, whatever. Yeah. Anyways. So making sure that I think people underestimate how important the messaging is, because you got to get a strong hook and then you got to tell people who you are and why they should listen to you. That's just so unbelievably underestimated for especially smaller creators, in my opinion.
Fascinating. And I've always struggled with that. I've changed my value statement. It's like every video, it's a new value statement. What questions do you have for Jeremy Vest about growing a YouTube channel? Ask us in the comments section. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Marcus Campbell is saying, I always start with a sales plan in mind. Every video I ask, what do I want this viewer to do? Subscribe, go to a page, buy something. Great points there, Mark Campbell. Jeremy, how do we organize a call to action in the video? I mean, do we ask them to subscribe in every video? And if we do, can we ask them to buy? Can we ask them to click? What are your thoughts on crafting that message, that action call inside an individual video?
I'll say it's relative to the goal of the video. So if the goal of the video was to get someone to go buy something or start getting into a funnel, you're not going to want to ask people to subscribe. If the goal is to sell something like a Squatty Potty style video or an ad, you're not going to want to ask someone to subscribe. So you really need to have content, marketing, not sales, to do this. But I always ask for a call to action. I ask people to do something in the first 45 seconds and then near the end. Most people wait till the end. And what's really, really dumb about that, no offense, is 80+% of your viewers are going to be gone by the end, by the end screen.
To the end. Yeah, that's
very
huge.
True.
No
one. So also just passively, just like subscribe, boom, just quick things. One thing I think you and Nick both do well is having physical buttons sometimes on the screen. Just, you don't always have to verbally communicate, but you do need to ask people what you want to achieve. And more, I think the biggest thing small creators do wrong is they aren't consistent with the ask. But secondly, they're not exactly sure what they want, right? So they're not. I would say my number one goal is blank. Is it adding subscribers? Is it getting people to engage? Is it getting people to go download my free ebook? And once you know that, then you should be able to craft. But my thoughts are quickly in the first 30 to 45 seconds, somewhere in the middle. Typically, I do that with visuals on the video, not audibly.
Yeah.
And then right before the end screen. And I'm not saying at the end screen because I want you to do something else at the end screen. I want you to watch another video or download an ebook, right? So before the end screen, I'm like, hey, make sure you go check out this second video or subscribe or do whatever. And then the end screen happens. I think Nick Nimmin probably does this the best out of most of us. He usually has, I call it a sub or a pre-end screen where he asks people to do stuff before the big buttons pop up.
Yeah.
Another thing about call to actions I think a lot of people do wrong is what I personally like to see brands do is slide their video over to the left-hand side about 50% wide and then have a blank solid background to put the end screen elements on so that people's eyes can actually go to it. If you have a whole video and then you just have some buttons, visually it's just clunky and cluttered and people can't think about it.
Yeah, and
I've seen that. I've seen that on the end of videos when they have a blank screen like that. Video shrinks, and then sometimes have a little writing. Like it's all pre-set up, and it looks very appealing to like you just want to click on it versus just like you're saying a full screen. But I do have a question, Jeremy, as far as like for YouTube. Say like you're a medium-sized brand, and you're not really a creator, but you have a marketing department. Would you recommend if they just want to get sales and just get views with the new algorithm and everything, would you recommend they promote those videos as well using AdWords?
It really just comes down to what the real business plan is. I think what most brands need to do is they need to compartmentalize content marketing versus advertising and sales. And that content is completely different. What happens, unfortunately, a lot of times, I've worked with a lot of big, home companies and, Fortune 10 type brands, and they'll make a how to build something in your house video, and then they'll put $2,000 behind it. And guess what happens? Typically, guess what happens? The engagement and the view, the watch time and everything is extremely low because it's hard to find. It's easy when people type in how to fix my drapes, and they find your content and they like drapes. But when you're advertising, it's actually pretty difficult to find the person thinking about drapes at that moment in time. The problem is the exact moment, and exact intent of search. That's the problem with advertising. So what ends up happening is they have crappy watch time, they have crappy engagement when they're pumping these ads out. A lot of people are doing pre-roll ads, and if you're doing pre-roll ads to a non-sales message, what typically happens is in the first 6 seconds, 7, 8 seconds, 80, 70, 80% of your audience leaves. If you are going to promote your videos on YouTube with ads, definitely do the display network ads or the search ads. Don't do pre-roll ads, because pre-roll ads don't really work that well unless you're trying to do a squatty potty type, sales message.
Yeah, and there's a lot of brand awareness happening on the pre-roll ads. We have got some amazing questions in the comment area right now. And if you're enjoying this interview, we invite you to share it on your timelines and in your Facebook groups right now. Let's go back to, we'll go to Tid Jane Tall, and then we'll go to Mark and Gordon vidIQ. Question is, where to start when you're a complete beginner on YouTube?
It's Tajan. What's up, Tajan? So I think the first place would start is a little section I like to call focus, or an F. Sorry, Owen, I had to throw this in there. He's making fun of me. And the first part of...
You'll all understand that later. Funny. It's very funny.
The first part of focus is understanding what that niche is. One of the biggest things, unless you're a vlogger, which a vlogger... The main subject becomes you and your family, right? Yeah. So you're just walking around and eating donuts or doing whatever you want to do, and the subjects change every single minute of the day. But the one constant is the person, and the person is the story. If you're doing how-to content, or you're teaching someone something, or you're entertaining someone, you're really going to want the same theme. You're going to want that underwater basket weaving, specific niche vertical, or people won't be able to follow you. I know this YouTuber, he's all right. He ranks like #1 for every web design thing in the world, but he does something else. And that can actually hurt a channel.
He's like a douche.
I'm just poking at Owen right now. But what happens if you rank really well for terms that you're not currently ranking for or wanting to rank for? If watch time's one of the biggest metrics of success for a YouTube channel and discoverability for a YouTube channel, then you really need to consistently keep that focus. Another thing is, I call this the nested philosophy or the nested strategy, is you're going to want to rank for bigger terms than the video you're talking about. So you're going to want to make series of videos. Cute Girl Hairstyles, they have over 1 billion views, and they started off very humble with a flip cam like 5 years ago. And my friend was just recording his daughter and his wife doing hair tutorials. Yeah. Well, several hundred tutorials later, they have 1 billion views, and they just dominate. And the reason for that is they have a niche. And every time I need to make a waterfall braid for my 8-year-old daughter, I can go to their channel, and I know exactly what their channel is about. If your channel's like mystery meat and you don't know what you're going to get every time you go there, people are not going to want to come back.
Yeah, I like the mystery meat.
And
that's a good channel name.
Lunch Land.
Yeah, I love it.
And your subscribers aren't going to know what to do, or they may not be in the right neighborhood. One day they come to the channel and you're talking about Legos, and the next day you're talking about trees, and they're just like, I don't even know why I'm here.
Yeah. And that goes back to your value statement, right? That goes back to, hey, subscribe to me if you want to learn all about X, Y, that focus, that powerful focus thing. So there's some good tips there. And certainly something I can relate to, because I built my channel on web design. But now we do more video, but still my top 4 best videos are all on web design. And so, we might go back to doing a little bit more of that. Marcus Campbell is asking a great question. What do you do when your channel kind of hits a flat line? Lately, it seems most of my traffic is all repeat people. And Marcus has got like a growing channel. I mean, he's at like 20, 30,000 subs. He's right around there. Your thoughts, Jeremy Vest?
Well, I'll say right now in 2018, to pull the Nick Nimmin marathon live video. That would be my honest opinion of the best thing I think, Marcus, you could do right now is do a 2-hour just injection video. On the vidIQ channel, we're doing live channel reviews every week, and our channel is killing it. We have over 150,000 subs, and that number's growing. And I'll tell you, the biggest difference maker lately has really been the live shows on YouTube. It's just an injection of watch time. The better your watch time is, the better your discoverability is going to be. And another thing I would do is I would always have 2 to 3 ideas of series in the works and see what resonates. Yeah. So don't be afraid to change up the formula. And one of the things that's really interesting to me is most of the time, people that have a complex formula lose, and people that develop a simple show formula that's easy to reproduce win. So a lot of the times, the people that are, doing these really, really, really complex shows aren't able to publish as much. Life gets in the way, and they're just simply not able to produce enough content that people consume, and your watch time goes down. Right. So keep it simple.
So Jeremy, based on the live stream, so a 2-hour live stream, that's huge. Say you do have a good amount of viewers, but what about one that is released to your channel and the retention isn't so great? Do you recommend maybe making them private after that? Because it seems like that could have a negative impact on your channel after such a big live. Just, your thoughts on that maybe.
I think people, and please, with all due respect, I'm just going to be hardcore because that's what I do. I think people get really hung up on retention. Mm-hmm. It's about how long people watch your stuff, guys. It's about if your competitor had 100,000 minutes watched last week and you had 200,000, I don't care if the retention was 10%. That doesn't matter long term. It's about the overall watch time of your channel. So just focus on that metric.
Well, that's very good. Yeah, thank you. That's very good to know for sure.
Tons of stuff going on, and it feeds right into these comments that are coming up from Gord and from vidIQ. We got a few different questions in here. So Gord Eisman is saying, on that note about live streaming, how do you feel live streaming works for how-to channels? Are people interested in watching a live tutorial, or should those just be pre-recorded?
First off, hi Gord, how's it going? That guy's awesome. If you guys haven't subscribed to his channel, he's really kicking butt right now. Yeah, good job, man. I would say that if one of my customers that I can talk about, he is one of the biggest deals on Google Sheets and Google Documents, and a lot of the productivity tools out there. He usually ranks in the top 2 or 3, and I could easily see his audience doing well with having a live stream, and that's definitely something I've been pitching him a lot. Yeah. And the reason for that is they're coming to his channel for productivity tips so that they can learn, Google Sheets and things like that better. Mm-hmm. Gord, my suggestion would be the core. Like I was talking about Cute Girl Hairstyles earlier, their live stream should really be about hairstyles. If the core fundamental thing you do, your focus, your value, your messaging, that one thing is met, that objective is met in the live stream, then I think you'll do well. For the vidIQ channel, we're doing live channel audits for our customers. Totally makes sense because we do video marketing strategy and help people grow their channels. So it just makes sense. Another thing I would say is focus on a few for live streams. Don't focus on the many, because this is an opportunity to make super fans. Yeah. I see that happening too with my live streams, is that you might get a smaller number of people and views on these initially, but your watch time is increased. These people they're sitting down and they're engaging with you. They're hanging out with you.
right? So it's
Absolutely.
a little bit different than, I'm going to watch for, 30% of your video and then go on to the next PewDiePie thing, right? It's that core user base. Jeremy, you talked about simple formulas versus complex formula, and vidIQ is asking, is there a quote formula video creators can follow to create a YouTube show?
Yeah, and I do have a formula. I can put a link in this description after the show. I call it the basic show formula. And essentially, you want to start with a powerful hook, right? You just want to knock them off their feet within the first 5 to 10 seconds of your show, and have the energy of an Owen, which I know no one in this world has the energy of an Owen. But you want to say, in this episode, we're going to learn 3 things on how to blah, blah, blah. And then you also want to give a hook in there to where it's like, and you won't believe what happened when, I fell on my skateboard or whatever. You want to have the power of storytelling in there, but you also want to specifically tell people what they're going to learn so that they can bounce and go to another video if that's not what they want to learn at that moment in time, which is really important. You want to get people engaged quickly or out quickly, so they're just not wasting anyone's, you're not wasting someone else's time. So start with a powerful hook. From there, quickly introduce yourself and give your core messaging, the what and why. My name's Owen. Go ahead.
No, but the hook, we've talked about hooks a lot in the YouTube community, and we kind of think of hook as like, hey guys, today you're going to learn X. But then when we watch a channel like Peter McKinnon, his hook might be all visual, right?
Yeah.
And so talk to us about the hook and how we can structure that good hook. How long should the hook be? What are you trying to accomplish in the hook? Your thoughts, Jeremy Vest.
I would say for most channels, not necessarily vlogs, but for most channels, I would say that you want to set the expectation of what the video is about. That's number one. That's rule number one. Because if people, they're skimming, they're just ADD and they're skimming channel videos to see what they want to consume. Right. So if you can give people a real good concept of what the video is about, and use visuals, use visual storytelling. If you're walking through a mall or skateboarding or whatever, use visuals in that 5 or 10 seconds. But then the second part of that is intrigue. It's just like creating a title tag. The title needs to be what the video is about and what you want to rank for, but you also have to give someone a reason to click. My favorite title thumbnail combo in the world is from Vsauce, and the title just says, "This is not yellow," and the thumbnail is yellow. And you're like, what the crap? So you have to click on it. It's like a train wreck, because I'm seeing the yellow thumbnail and the title says it's not yellow. So from a storytelling perspective, you need to tell what the video is about, but you need to give someone a reason to watch. And that's really where the hook part comes in, is, when you're fishing, you don't set the hook until the fish grabs, the bait. And that's kind of the same concept, is you want to give someone that bait, the shiny object, to have a reason to continue to watch you.
That visual hook, I think, is super important, and one that makes this episode share worthy. If you haven't already shared this video, go ahead and do so on your timeline right now. We'd really appreciate it. We're talking with Jeremy Vest. Jeremy is a dad bod model. He is the video marketing strategy director at vidIQ. Is that the correct title?
Whatever you want to call me, Owen, I'm good.
Brand evangelist. He's the pastor over at vidIQ. We're still sort of figuring out all of that. And we're talking about YouTube. Tom Martin, who is one of our YouTube brothers, is saying about the end cards. He suggests even pointing to the blank space on the screen to say, hey, go click that next video and watch that video. Do you find those are helpful, Jeremy, to give these additional visual cues to get people to click where you want them to click?
Absolutely. And hey, Tom Martin, that guy's one of my heroes. You guys need to be following him. He's amazing. I think, look, the more human you can make your situation, the better you're going to do as a creator. Right. If you say, click on this thing or click on this button, what's going to work better? I mean, most of this stuff is common sense, but I completely agree with Tom. If the more human you make something, like, oh, click there, the better you're going to do.
Right.
Every time, 100% of the time.
Speaking of being human, Anna D'Onofrio Roundsville is asking a kind of a complex question, but I want to get to it because we've actually got a neat little conversation happening on this in the comment section. My 13-year-old son wants to be a YouTuber, but has autism, possibly dyslexia. How do I protect him from trolls and bullying? I've been hesitant to pull the trigger on this because I've got that concern. Your thoughts, Jeremy Vest?
So one thing I would do is I would not give him access to the back end of the channel.
Good.
Another thing I can send you guys if you want, I have a list of over 2,000 blacklist keywords that you can put in your comment section, or excuse me, in your community section that has literally, like, I've never even heard half these words make me blush. But it's a lot of hate speech and a lot of cuss words, and you can immediately filter those 2,000 words out, which is going to take a lot of the mean hate speech and spam out automatically.
Right.
Another thing, I have a 14-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old daughter. Also, me and my 8-year-old daughter both have dyslexia. I would say let them feel the burn. I know this sounds crazy, but the world sucks. It really does.
Yeah.
And it's a great teaching opportunity, but do it in a capacity that's not going to hurt them too much.
Right. Environment, right? Like, hey, this is who people are, and you got to be you anyway.
Yeah. Just don't give them access to the back end to begin with. Make sure everything's kind of copacetic. And talk with them often. Also, another thing that Sean McKnight of Cute Girls Hairstyles does with his daughters is they have the first hour of videos up. They have something called the Power Hour, where all the viewers know they're going to answer questions. So they're able, as a family, to sit down together and really see what these comments are. And they're right next to their daughters when this is happening, so that they in real time can parent through the process.
You know what? That's huge. I want to add something to that. For all of you guys that are working with your kids or younger people, go get the book, Different Kids, Different Styles. I'm reading this book right now. It's absolutely changing my life. And it's all about the disc profile, right? Like the different personalities of your kids. And it helps to understand, from a behavioral psychology perspective, what lights your kids' fire. And what is going to devastate them more. Like for me as a kid, verbal abuse, it was something, or just verbal attacking was something that was would be devastating to me. But failing a test, I didn't really care about. It didn't hurt me. There's other kids that are just completely flipped around, and it's like criticism from peers versus criticism from an authority figure. Very, very different things. I highly recommend that book. It's absolutely changing my life right now. Some great comments coming up. Brian White, I'm not going to ask that question on the air, but I'm hoping that vidIQ will maybe jump in there, and maybe we can get Andrew Can to go in and do some answering.
I was hoping you were going to ask that question, Owen. I was kind of wanting to hear Jeremy's take on that one. But vidIQ does have a really good question. If you were to self-audit your YouTube channel, what 5 things would you look at first? I think that's terrific.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I did actually write a post recently. I can add that in the comments later on for Social Media Examiner, where we actually literally had this almost exact question that we answered. The first thing I would do is you're really looking at patterns, right? You're a data scientist, you're in your YouTube analytics, and you're trying to find patterns. I would focus on views to subscribers and views to engagement. I would divide those numbers and find out what those metrics are, so that you can see how many people, if you get 100 views and 1 subscriber, you're at 1%.
Right.
That's pretty bad. So why? Another thing I would look at is relative and absolute audience retention. And you can actually see the exact dips when people are leaving your videos. And then you actually can look at the video production style and what's happening at that moment in time to see exactly why people are leaving. And then what you basically do is you cut out the cancer of your videos when people leave. So that's another thing I look at. Another just basic one is consistency. if you're posting at least once a week at the same time and the same day, the consistency of your likes, comments, shares, views, watch time is going to be like this. If you're missing weeks, you're just going to be all over the place, right? If you add a couple of videos every week or once a week, once a month, you're going to get some bonus watch time. So I would just look at it from a data scientist perspective and see what's working, and just what we at vidIQ call doubling down. We double down on the stuff that works, and we throw away the stuff that isn't working that well, and we just forge fast as we can, doubling down every single time. One of the things that I see people doing wrong the most, especially smaller creators and brands, is not grouping your videos together. I think Brian G. Johnson does this the best in our industry, where if you type in how to get more views in 2018 or how to get more subs and how to get more subscribers in 2018, he makes a ton of videos with these specific titling strategies. And I call this the nested philosophy, where you put the tags, titles, descriptions, and you have a series of 20 or 30 videos where you're tying them all together. If you're doing that, this is what happens. This is that at the end of the day, this is why I keep on pushing this. And what you'll see in your analytics when you're auditing your channels is you have a honeymoon period for the first 24 to 72 hours. Essentially, your videos are going to rank higher than they will, a couple of weeks later, right? So imagine you're a small channel like Gord, and he's consistently ranking for how to get more views or how to get more subscribers, the biggest terms in our industry. Every 3 or 4 days, he's ranking in the top 5 or 10 for that. What's going to happen? He's going to get more organic discoverability more consistently, because a small channel like mine can't rank for those big terms long term, right? But we can rank for them in the top 10 every 3 or 4 days.
When it's got when it's got that little new tag, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, so that great questions happening. We might even go a little bit longer today, folks. So we're glad that you're here. People are asking me about the book. It's called Different Children, Different Styles, and it's by Dr. Boyd. I'm sorry, it's in the other room. I might grab it in just a second so you guys can see it. Craig Hilbun is saying, how long should your video be once you've got the formula? And maybe, Jeremy, you give us like a quick answer so we can get to these 5 questions that we still have lined up. So sure. How long should the video be?
As long as people engage in it, and not a second longer. It's not it's not a formula. If you hear people saying your video should be 7 to 12 minutes, that's BS. Just run away from people telling you that stuff, because it really comes down to as long as people can. How long can you keep someone's attention? If you can't keep people's attention and they're only watching 2 minutes of your video and you're making a 10-minute video,
that's awesome.
Dang.
No, I get it though, because here's the thing is you might have a video where you can say it all in 3 minutes. So just make it 3 minutes. I think that's what you're saying, right? But then you might have another video that need 15 minutes. But you're, as the creator, you're thinking, well, the last video was 3 minutes. I can't just make this one 15. And what you're saying is make the video as long as it needs to be.
Well, I would say make the video as long as people are willing to watch it. That's really what I would say. If you're making 10-minute videos and people are watching 2 minutes, stop doing that. Okay. It doesn't make any sense.
Love it.
Make them 3 minutes, and hope for the other minute, or change up your entire formula, go to relative and absolute audience retention and see why and exactly when people are dropping off, and cut that cancer out and double down on the thing that's working better.
How dare you?
Oh,
great. Yeah. Where's?
Oh, and can I virtually hug you now, Owen?
I can't find my. There it is. How dare you, sir? And we're making cancer jokes. Jeremy was actually with me all through cancer. In fact, I remember being bald and sweaty from my chemo, and still at Vid Summit, bunking with you in that hotel, and just having a great time. Great question from Gord. I think I have this question too. What does Jeremy think of linking out from video descriptions for lead magnets?
Look, you have the YouTube purists, and you have a lot of us experts saying all kinds of different things about linking out. Let's just be real. you know, MySpace used to be the jam, right?
Yeah.
If you put all your eggs in one basket, you're a moron, and you're probably not going to be in business. You know, let's say something weird happens. One of our customers had a YouTube channel with 2 million subs. Guess what happened? YouTube removed it a few months ago. Just gone.
Wow.
And you know what? They didn't capture anything before, you know, it was a specific type of channel. So they didn't capture anything. So now, you know, it's like renting a car for 20 years. You don't own that car. We don't own, YouTube doesn't owe us anything. Facebook, Instagram, they don't owe us anything. We are using them like a artist use a paintbrush or a pen. And, you know, we need to respect that. We need to have our own universe. We always need to bring people back to our universe, have, you know, email lists and things like that. And then just use these platforms as they allow us to use them and say, thank you, sir. May I have another? We don't complain. We don't need to bitch about everything they do. We just need to appreciate and respect what they're doing for us and bring people back to our world. That's my opinion.
That's huge. We promote to all of our, in fact, I'm going to be speaking about this at ClamorCon this year, is capturing your audience on your own email list. I can't tell you how many YouTubers will tell me, that's too businessy. That's too businessy for me. But we are seeing channels be completely wiped out by the YouTube flaggers. And they've decided that it doesn't work for them anymore. So your channel is gone. Your income is gone.
Yep.
There's just nothing you can do about that unless you have your own audience. It's very, very important, Jeremy, what you're talking about bringing people back into your own universe. We've got another question here from Mary Young, who is saying, we have a doll channel where we currently focus on collecting for adults and similar related topics. We spend a lot of time behind the camera to show off the dolls. How important is it to get in front of the camera? Your thoughts, Jeremy Vest.
Mary, I think it's relative, right? Of the audience's age and a lot of different things. For example, there's a lot of crafting videos that are very specifically needing to show exactly how their hands are cutting stuff out and pasting things. So there's a lot of channels with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of subs where these DIY crafters don't even get on camera. I will say in general, you're probably going to have competitors out there also doing these doll channels. I personally think your personality is going to be the reason they click subscribe or eventually purchase something from you later on. You know, Owen is a good example. A lot of you guys are here because of his spirit, his personality, and his, you know, he's just a rock star. Unfortunately, he knows it. But but you know, you guys are here because of his magnetic charisma. You know, that's the truth. That's the truth.
Here, Owen.
I learned it on YouTube on Charisma on Command. That's how I learned it. I was a douche a year ago. It's true.
And Jeremy, you were so right about the YouTube thing with the artist paintbrush. It's like an artist is getting a paintbrush for free. I mean, YouTube isn't charging you. People should be saying thank you to YouTube no matter what happens. I understand it would be horrible if they just shut you down, but you know what? Start over. You know, it's like, it's a free memory platform that holds everything. You know, it's like, it's unbelievable.
Take a look at the Philip DeFranco situation right now, right? He's now moving to his own network because he can't fight it anymore. Imagine, and he's an amazing guy. So I'm just saying, like, imagine what would have happened if he had done that, 3 years ago. He wouldn't be in a place where he's beholden to YouTube. Right. We have to recognize that. By the way, I want to give a big shout out to D. Niman, who says, hey, Jeremy, loving those decks on the wall. And we're always happy to see D. Niman in here. vidIQ is saying, hey, don't go longer. Jeremy needs to get back to work. So we want to make sure that we know what's going on. We just had Phil Starkovich of TubeBuddy join. Calm down. Calm down.
Phil. Hey, Phil.
Stay back. We want to keep it civil.
I love Phil. He's an amazing guy.
Phil is an amazing guy, and we're super pumped to be working with him. Jeremy, we got to get out of here. You got to get back to work. How do we stay in touch with you and follow the work that you're doing?
You can go to vidiq.com/Jeremy. Check me out there, or you can go to vidpow.com to check out my awesome conference where Owen is going to be speaking. And Jason's going to be there too.
Yes, August. Dude, I am so excited. Super excited.
It's going to be an amazing. Take a minute, talk to us about what is Video Marketing World and why should we go?
I'd rather just say what it's not. So, I've spoke at Vid Summit and VidCon for the last 3 or 4 years. Those conferences are absolutely amazing. They are absolutely amazing. What I've tried to do with Video Marketing World is it's actually not a conference. It's a workshop, and the prize is developing your video strategy for the year. That's the whole concept behind this. And if you look at the site, we have Tim and Daryl and Roberto and Owen and the best, most awesome people, the people I love the most in this industry coming to speak and teach. Instead of it just being a traditional conference, the idea is every session there's basically work you can do. You can fill in the blanks and develop your strategy. All the attendees get 12-month access to all 40 sessions and the video strategy workbook. So it's a place where you come and get work done. It's also at the Gaylord Texan, which is a resort, and it's amazing. You should bring your wife or significant other. It's going to be a great event.
Beautiful hotel. I've got a friend, Andrew Davis out there speaking a couple weeks ago. Amazing hotel. And I got to say, this conference, it's very different. It's like the unconference, right? It's a workshop more than anything else. And we were actually closing business while we were there. We closed business while we were there. It's really a great group of people. So I hope you guys will check that out. And you can do that by going to
vidpow.com.
VidPow, vidpow.com. Jeremy, great to have you on the show and great to have all of you beautiful people watching. Don't forget to type SUB in the comment section right now so that you don't miss a single show. Jason, thanks for stepping in today. We will see you guys
had a fun time
on the Business of Video podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Business of Video podcast. If you like the show, give us a review on iTunes or share this episode on social media now. Join us next time on Facebook Live. Just visit businessofvideopodcast.com and subscribe to the newsletter updates. This podcast is brought to you by Tuber Tools and BizTubeAcademy.com.